Mother's consumption of Divine Mother's grace, because the movements of sun and moon is such, and today is Dakshinayana started. So the sun has moved to southern hemisphere travel now. Uttarayana was over. Traditionally, this period is considered as Devas and all the heavenly beings rest. But actually it's not true, because if you watch it, during this period until December, we do most of the big functions, Navaratri, most of the functions, because this is very auspicious for consumption of their grace. And today is particularly auspicious because I just came from Himalayas and I did a yatra for all of you. Went to Gouri Kund. Gouri Kund is the first place Divine Mother started creating, writing the story of us. When I say us, I don't mean human. Every life form. That must be 4 billion years ago. During those periods, Earth was constantly hit by meteorites. And one of them hit this part in Himalayas. And that's 4 billion years ago, more than 4.5 billion years ago. That effect is still can be perceived. That area is very hot, and that pond, which was created from the impact, is still hot and boiling, almost more than 4 billion years ago. The reason why she chose that spot, because physical energy is needed to share with all the life forms. That is why Himalayas are auspicious, because intense energy was created when the piece of Africa, which split and floated and came and impacted India, and that's what formed the impact, formed Himalayas. So the intense energy, the heat and the energy, electromagnetic temperature, those are needed. So she chose that part to go and meditate. That is why she's called Mahatapasvi, because no one can sacrifice as she, and she did that to create all the life form and write the story. Can you imagine? She wrote each life form, each Atman, including the insects, trillion of them. She wrote the story and she became part of them. So she not only created, she became part of the actors. Who are the actors? We are the highest in Earth. On other planets, there are higher forms. Every beginning with one cell organism. Anything with an Atman, anything which has a piece of divine, which is an Atman. And she wrote the stories, trillion stories. And we, as the highest form in Earth, we are acting out, and every life form is acting out. And the story is written by her. And that sacrifice is considered as the highest sacrifice, highest tapasya. And that resulted in the creation of life forms on Earth. There are many planets and many universes. She can think and create them. And in each, there are actors, and we are actors on Earth, and many other life forms are actors. So she did the tapasya. So that's why she is referred as Mahatapasvi. And the tapasya is needed ultimately for anything, for evolution. The penance and tapasya is needed. Sacrifice, penance, and tapasya. And she did it as an example. And then we follow the same methodology. We do tapas, and we do sacrifice, and we do penance. The penance probably is not the right term. It's not a sacrifice. It's an evolution of our consciousness. We want to expand our consciousness. So that's the reason we take hundreds and thousands of life ourselves and evolve to this level of consciousness. Ultimately, that's what means how much you gain in each life, meaning how much of expansion of consciousness we do, how much of contact we have with her. That's why this temple's mission is to help humanity to explore and experience. Exploring and experience is a very high calling, and she has given it to us. So you can explore and experience. And she's a personal goddess. That's She interacts with you. Whether you're consciously aware or not, doesn't matter. She does, and she's very personal. She is going to give us the most magnificent temple once we are completed. It'll take probably a year and a half. But we will have Mother Sannidhanam, Mothers Kartikeya and Ganesha, hopefully in the next 3 to 4 months. That'll be magnificent. Then we'll continue. She's given us 33 aspects of her Sannidhanams inside the temple. These are little templates inside the magnificent temple. All this design and the planning is needed for us. So she plans and she builds, we do our small part. Hopefully we will do to her satisfaction. She's very pleased this trip. When I was in Himalayas, many miraculous things happened. It was the toughest trip I've undertaken. The roads are very bad and big boulders are coming, the roads are closed. It's a long story. I won't go into it, but it was accomplished. And you are there, whether you know it or not. I think of you, think of our congregation, think of our devotees, and think of the world, because the purpose of this temple is protective, because Mother knows this next decades will be very difficult. And Asuri, this is Kali Yuga. So you can't even blame them. That is what, it is their time. It is Asuri time. The next couple 100,000 years, till this Yuga ends, it will be Asuri time. And so she wants to protect us. She wants to protect the world. So she builds her house and she invites us. And we come and we contemplate and we communicate. There will be millions of yakshinis. That's why she said, you come to me and do this ritual the way I instructed you. And she gave the tithis, it was Triyodasi and full moon day. And everything the way she asked me to do, I did it on your behalf. Remember that you have made that yatra, even though physically you are not there. Consciously I create, I take you with me and she takes you and does what she has to do for you. It's a wonderful, wonderful concept. The concept of this yatras, they've done it for thousands of years in ancient days. People cannot go. Even now, how many of you really will be able to visit that Gouri Kund? May not be, because it's unlikely. You're busy and you may not go there. And going there alone is not enough. You've got to do what she wants you to do on that tithi and that ritual. The rituals are very meaningful. Like this morning, we did a wonderful homa at 6:30 in the morning. Sukra Hora. That Hora was Sukra. On a Friday, the first Friday of Audi is the most auspicious. All the Fridays of Audi is considered auspicious for mother worship, for divine worship. And particularly for Maryam. For Maryam, today is a very auspicious. And you are here, you are doing the Abhishekam with all your love, your affection, your reverence. And naturally, your Atman will be so pleased and you'll be reacting with her. Your mind may not perceive it, but your Atman will perceive it. So to be here is very blessed. And we did the Abhishekam with that water. We energized this morning in the Homa. It was a wonderful Homa. We didn't even publicize it because of certain reasons. We didn't want them to know we did the Homa. Because we're not supposed to do construction. We're not supposed to officially do any fire in the temple. But we did it because we do need the, look at the Homa Kunda, Yoni Kunda, the most powerful of all the Homa Kundas, that would that be one. And this morning we invoked Agni and we use Agni as a mediation. And the priests are the liquids. So it was done wonderfully. We invoked Mother, we invoked many aspects of Mother. And that water we do Abhishek. So it's very, very meaningful. And when you do Abhishekam, you embrace her. You are touched, not only in a physical level, in a deep psychic level, emotional level, spiritual level, in all levels. It's all mind. You have to think, you have to feel her, and she has to feel you. So you create that psyche, and that's what connects. your Atman to Paramatman. That's the symbolism of we doing Homa. Among all the methodologies of reaching her, Homa would be the best. Next would be Abhishek, and you did that just now. And then the Alankaram, and then you show your love, affection. And this place is very, very personal. Everything planned by her for each one of you. So to be a recipient of that much of affection, you must have done something wonderful. Not just one time, many, many times. You would have invoked her and would have asked her, let me explore and experience you. And this life, she has given us the privilege to be able to explore, to be able to understand all the mystical way. Who are the Yakshinis, who are the Mohinis, who are the Vidyadharas, who are the intermediaries, million levels of intermediary from her to us. It's all vibration. Ultimately, it's vibration. Everything is vibrating, and the levels of vibration differs to a degree from her to maybe 10,000. I'm just giving you a figure, comparison, million. Even the closest Yakshinis and intermediate super sensuous being, this place is full of them. They would be million times high vibratory then. That's why you don't see them. It's too much of vibration and you cannot visually see, but you can see them with inner eye, with your consciousness, with your love, with your affection, and with your awareness. Ultimately, it's all awareness. You have to be aware of who is that energy, how she came. She was the only one, pure, undivided consciousness. She decided to create so that she can explore and she can give us all the life forms a chance to evolve and interact with you. That must have happened 4.5 billion years ago. That's the age of the earth. And that place is Gouri Kund, where she initially started this drama. And the energy is still there. When all of you are there, because when I do the rituals, I think of all of you being with me. It's planned by her. She plans it beautifully. She gives all the, till a couple of weeks before I did that, I didn't even know what Tithi I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go there. Then she gives the instruction. Without that, that whole act would not be as effective. Anyone can go to Gouri Kund, but what do you do there? You have to know which Tithi. Those Tithis are very important. The moon, sun, earth relationship. That's very important. So you have to know right Tithi and right prayogam and right ritual. And when you do them, it becomes real. The connections become real. All the intermediate energies, super sensual energies, Yakshinis, Mohinis, Vidyadharas, Gandharvas, all are super sensual beings. And I'm just giving a comparison. Ours is say 10,000 vibratory unit because we are human, highest in the earth. But the closest are, I don't want to use the word lowest, I would say closest Yakshinis would be million times as much as. And we interact with them. And when you are aware of it, your Atman feels peace and your level of consciousness goes up. So we become higher forms. Even though physically you don't change, but psychically and vibrationally you change. If you understand. But ultimately it goes back to our love, our affection, our reverence to her. But she was a primary originator. She was the only one who was there. And she started the whole drama. So all of us, every life form can feel her. And depending on their level of vibration, they will all evolve. It may take million lifetimes. We have had close to million lifetimes. Like Krishna Bhagavan tells Arjuna, you have lived 800,000 times. I knew each one of the time. You don't remember me, but I remember every one of your life. So the divine follows us. And that many lifetimes are needed. Okay, in that plane of consciousness, million years is like a second. It goes through. Time doesn't have the meaning. It has meaning to us because we are very slow. We are dense being. We vibrate very slowly. So we move slowly. But once you go to that realm of consciousness, we vibrate very fast. That's why the divine becomes part of us, and you become part of divine. And that loka, this is human. Next loka would be Devaloka. And this place is the entrance to Devaloka. When you come here and get attached to her and all the super sensuous, high vibratory being, that's probably a more scientific way of describing this super sensuous being. Billions and trillions of them, high vibratory energies. And they become part of us because we invoked her and we have her grace. And we have her grace, she makes it happen. Otherwise, just mechanically going even to Gouri Kund, not knowing what you should do, what day you should do, what tithi you should do, who you should invite, we won't have that knowledge. The rishis have found out and gave us some information, but not the finest, highest level of information. That is given only by her. And for that, the temple needs someone who can communicate with her, with mantra, yantra, and tantra. And she has given all of that to our temple. The gurus who came, who initiated me, they given the yantra, the mantra, the tantric truths. So we use all of them. That is why it becomes effective. Mechanically praying, worshipping is good, showing love, but it's not as effective as going through all the rituals and the mantra and the tantra and the yantra and the proper yantra. And the yantra is a big science. And in the we use Sri Chakra. Trillion energy forms are there. We say 332 million devas. Actually, it's much more than that. It's triple that number. That many vibratory differences from one source. And each one is a deity. Each one is a devata. And you interact with them. And ourselves are devatas to lower life form. That's why we always do nice things to any life forms. In every life form, she is there. In one of the prayogam, when Yakshini asked me, what can you do for her? I thought for a minute, what can we do for her? She is everything. She not only created us, she is us. She became part of us. What can we do? But I figured, I said, we will do whatever we can to make every life form connect to her. That's our mission. To learn to explore and experience through worship, through devotion, through coming to a place like that. And she has given a wonderful, there's a river underneath. Temples built on river would be very energetic. That apa is needed. Apa is water, 75% of it is water. And there's a deity called Ambuja, Ambika. And we will have a temple for her. In the pond, we'll have a temple pond. And in the center, we will have that deity. Because nobody knows her. Nobody thinks of her. But 75% of us is water. Apa. Apa is very important. All the 5 elements are important. But Apa is equally important. So she gives the thought process. You think of her and connect to her. And she will wake up in you, meaning us. She will wake up in us. She's present in all life form, but dormant, lesser conscious level. So we improve our consciousness, level of consciousness, and then we connect. And our Atman is pleased. And it takes that many lifetimes. I know that because that's what Krishna Bhagavan tells us. You lived 800,000 lifetimes, where I have known you, I followed you, but you don't know it, because that Maya covers. But each lifetime you grow up. So we grow up in each lifetime. We use this temporary shelter. I call it short-term rental. This is a short-term rental. We live maybe, hopefully, 100 years, or close to it. And we use that to expand our level of consciousness. That's all the self-realization. That is the ultimate purpose of it. If you spend the whole lifetime without knowing that and enjoying life the way most people do, have nice things in life, have a family, children, grandchildren, it's okay. But that's not the end point. The end point is how much we grow. Ultimately, that is the end point, all of us. That should be the end point. That's why our Hinduism is simply Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That is Hinduism. It's not even a religion. It's a way of life. But it covers everything. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You go through all of it. Do Artha, do commerce, enjoy everything. But don't forget why you are here. What is our ultimate aim in this short-term rental? It's a rental body. It's going to go. But the Atma will continue to grow, and she will continue to evolve, be with us, and take us to higher level of consciousness. What that means is, after this lifetime, many of you, I know some of you, this is the last time as human. You may not know that, but if you check your astrological chart and see Ketu in 12th house, you are very likely finish up as human. And many people I know here, they are in the final part of life as human. But the journey goes on. You go into higher world, Devaloka, and you continue to evolve until you become one with her. That may take eons, million years, but you will ultimately reach her, because that is our destiny. If it's because we have the grace. We have our grace. Look, the most auspicious day, Adi, Friday, the first Friday, very auspicious for Maryam. It's the most important day for Maryam. You are here doing the Abhishekam. That's very meaningful. And that we cannot plan it. She would plan it and will participate if we have a grace. And all of us have a grace. And today is an important day for Maryam. Mari means rain, technically. But to me, it's a transformative energy which starts the cycle of creation and experience. And she is a Prakriti, and she becomes two. When she went to Gouri Kund, she became Shiva Shakti. And she sent the Shiva aspect to Kailash. He said, you go there and do your part in dissolution. Because without dissolution, creation cannot continue. You need both. So he went there and did his part. And she went there and did this humongous tapas to write the story of trillion life forms, and then become part of that script and act out. Very scientific concept. It's all thought. It's all mind. Let's say our moon is a very important part. Moon represents mind. Sun represents Atman. So this month, the relationship between the sun and moon is very auspicious to wake up the Devi in us. Auspicious means very conducive. And that day, she invites us here. She makes us do this wonderful Abhishekam. She makes us do the wonderful Homa. All this can be done only if she wishes. But you have earned it, each one of you. You earned your right to be, that's why I said, many 100,000 lifetimes, you would have wanted it. You would have wanted to be part of her. And it will happen. And this time, she not only takes you, she gives a wonderful temple, constructed with her advice. It's done very ritualistically. Look, a river, we didn't even know there was a river underneath. When we broke ground, we saw, after about 5 feet, there's a river. So we had to go beyond the river, so another 20 feet, pilings, all complexities. We were not anticipating it, but we didn't know there was a river. But we do know, temple built on the river would be the most effective among all the temples. Not that many temples. They built them on the river banks. Ancient kings did that, but right on the river, not many temples, very few. And we didn't know we were doing it. Again, showing how beautifully she plans, how much grace we have to be able to participate in the drama which she created. So we are all very blessed. And today is a very blessed day. Adi, really, all the Fridays in this month are a very blessed day for Shakti worship. So participate all the Fridays. This is the first day. Rest of the Fridays we'll do it in the other place, because we are going to build a small temple in the next 4 months. We will build a temple to match the Rajagopuri. So it will be like a regular temple. I'm smiling because when I was doing a prayer in Himalayas, one of the actually said, She does so much for you. What have you done? You've given her a shed. It looks like a shed from outside, right? It doesn't look like a temple. We do wonderful Sannidhanam we have. But outside it doesn't. So I said, okay, we'll stop it. We will build the temple the next 3-4 months. Have the Navaratri here. And the other one will go on for probably a year and a half. But there are 33 Sannidhanam we have to do. All are very perfectly designed by her. We don't do anything. We do exactly what she tells during time of prayoga. Prayoga means you do, it's a mystical thing. I do it at night between 4:30 and 6:30, where you have to use mantra, tantra, and yantra. To use it, you have to be given that. You cannot make it. Yantras, and you can go and buy them. But this yantra she has given us, which was given by some gurus, about whom we will talk next week. Guru Purnima is 24th or 23rd. At that time, I will tell you two of the gurus, what a wonderful thing they have done for us, giving the yantras, mantra she gave, and how to decipher it. So yantras are very complex. Each line is a devata, and they vibrate. You have to know them. Otherwise, just looking at the diagram alone doesn't do that much. It does. If you look at that yantra and think of divine, it does a lot. But if you understand them, each one of them, naturally your connection becomes more intense, and she will wake up with more activity in you. And all of us are, but we have to wake her up. And so we have to grow up, expand our consciousness, and get the most important thing. Bhakti is very important. More than that, grace, ultimately, is the grace. If we have a grace, everything will happen. You will come, you will receive her, even without trying that hard. Some people go through lots of penance to reach the state. And you would have done it in the past, but not this time. But this time is a continuation of all your activities in the past in terms of reaching divine, reaching Shakti, Parashakti. She is a primordial, original one. And she is Shiva Shakti, so you don't have to worry about who is Shiva, who is Shakti. She's both. And she went to Gouri Kund. I didn't even know about that a few years ago, that there is a place where she came and did great tapasya and created all the life forms. That's why she's called Mahatapasya. Her Gayatri refers to her as Mahatapasvi. No one can do that intense tapasya. And it's done as a sacrifice to us. So all the life forms can be created, and she can write the script and act out the script. And we are co-actors. What a beautiful concept in the evolution. That is what evolution is all about. But this place is very holy because she did it. So when we found the river, we went down beyond the river and put pilings. It's very complex. But without pain, there is no pain. So she planned it. So this place will be very, very energetic, very powerful. We'll have her actively because we went through those things. It's a very scientific concept. You have to go through that penance. You have to pay the price. There's no pain, no gain. Somebody has to do it. But you participate in that. That's why every yatra I do. I don't know how many more years I can do because it's getting harder and harder. Travel gets harder and going up there. As you age, your ability to persevere also goes down. But so far, she has come through beautifully. But this time when I went, the freeway, there's only one road, which goes all the way to Kailash, from Rishikesh. I go to Rishikesh and I go. The road was closed because boulders are falling from the mountain. One side is mountain, other side is 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet down. If you fall, you fall. But it doesn't happen. I ask people how often that happens. It happens a couple of times a year. The bus, the car, people fall. But most of the time it's protected because they're going for a holy purpose, a yatra. I think the divine energy, the supersensual energy protects us. So when they stopped me, close to Gouri Kund, 20 kilometers, and I had highest connections. The IAS officer, the governor, they all given me letters. told the other people. So the man who was highest level guy, an IAS officer, said, you cannot go. The field is closed. You cannot go. I said, I have to go. I came all the way and I will go. He said, how can you go? You see the police officer and the road is closed. How are you going to go? You're going to walk? I know I can't walk. I said, she has given me the plan and it is done for the word. I'm not a religious freak. If it's not logical, I would not do that. But she has given the plan, she has given all the needed instruction. She wouldn't have given. If I cannot do that, she wouldn't have done it. So I was very confident. So after half an hour of arguing with him, he let me go. And when I asked him, why telling me that you cannot is illegal, you lose your job, your livelihood, he's an IAS officer. After telling me all that, he's letting me go. Why? He said, you control my mind. I said, no, I'm a human being. I cannot control your mind. You're a professional. You are a spiritual soul. You heard her. She told you. And he looked at me and he said, you know, something did tell me that I should let you go. I said, something is, she's telling you, let him go and do what he came for, right? And he let me. So don't tell me I control you. No, I'm an ordinary human being. The divine controls you. That means you are touched by her. Atman, Paramatman has touched you and told you, let him go, which is illegal and should not be done because those boulders are big boulders, they're 10 or 2, they're falling. And the roads are blocked and I didn't even go in the road once I passed. The driver, strangely, is an Afghan, a Muslim. He was born there, so he said, there's a way. Ancient rishis took that route. It's not the freeway, and I know I have driven it the place. It's a jungle. So he took me that way. At night, everything was dark. Next day, when I saw it, it's a 5,000, 10,000 feet drop. If the thing, car misses it, you go down. But I didn't have any doubt. She will take me, and I will do it. So, because she wouldn't do that, she won't give me the tithi and the plan and all those mantras. She won't do it. And also I'm doing it for you, for the world. You represent the world against the Asuric energy. She gives the divine, Devic energy. So she is helping the world to survive, to persevere. COVID is just one. There are many things ahead of us. And she will protect us. And for that only this temple came. 30, 40 years ago, right? It was Mother Meenakshi who first told me, build my house 50 years ago. But she said, don't call me Meenakshi, I am one of the deity, but I am Adi Parashakti, primordial energy. Call me Adi Parashakti. But she wasn't Mother Meenakshi to me because that's the way she came. She came in the Nadi reading, and that Nadi reading was Meenakshi Nadi. That is a conversation between Ganesha and Mother. Ganesha asks Mother, tell me the story of the soul. What is he here for? What is his purpose? And that reading is what that scroll will read. And some of you, it's called Meenakshi Nadi. That person who was here many times to our temple, wonderful soul, he went to Kaya, he passed away. He came many times. So many high gurus have come here and done many things under her direction. If she doesn't tell them, they won't do that. Like this example is the officer. You're doing something illegal. You cannot do that. When the road is closed, it's closed. And you lose his job. Then he told me, Doctor, please don't die, come back. I said, don't worry, I will come back and I'll call you. So when I finished the job, I was coming down, I called him and thanked him. Because his friend is known to me very closely. He's another collector, IAS officers. They all belong to one batch. 30 years ago, they must have gone to school together. And the comradeship is very good. So every time I win, I will have highest connection. But we have the highest connections. With Mother, with us, what higher level we can have. She'll take care of it. But how nicely she does. Each one of you, you think of it, how affectionately, how kindly, how efficiently she plans it. And she makes sure we participate in that. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, you have to be aware. Everything ultimately is awareness. If you are not aware of and particular entity, it doesn't exist. That applies to even planets. Until we knew about Neptune and Uranus, we didn't even know. But we did not have the effect of the planets. Once we know that the effect of the planets manifests in us, those planets existed for 14 billion years. They've existed in our universe, but we were not aware of them until recently. Then only each planet effect, the Mars, the Neptune, all the psychological development from Saturn, all energy in us woke up and our knowledge went up and we understood. So ultimately it's awareness. If you're not aware of all this, you would not get the benefit. You will get the benefit out of grace, she will give it to you. But it's good if you understand and consume her actively, not passively. Passively she'll give a word, her energy. That's why she builds this temple. She makes us do exactly the way she wants it. And we will do it. You'll see a magnificent temple coming up in the next year and a half. Even this place will be magnificent in the next 3-4 months. It'll be built up with the Longterm. So when you look from outside, this will be a little template. That's what we stopped the work there and we'll deploy for the next 3-4 months. This part we'll complete it. And then we'll move back there and continue that part. That'll take a year and a half. But again, as I said, Mother, Ganesha and Kartikeya will be done in 4 or 5 months there. So you will get the occupancy. So you can visit it. Right now you don't even know what is going on there because that place is a hard-hit area. People cannot go. But in 4 months, hopefully, we will get a permit so you can go and worship Mother in that place. It will be magnificent. The Sannidhanam will be magnificent. The way she has planned it, you have to see it to believe it. How finely she has crafted each ritualistic aspect, symbolic aspect. Okay, coming back to today. Today is a very auspicious day, the first Friday for Maryam's worship. This is the best day. In the whole year, this would be the best day. Next Friday, next 4 or 5 Fridays also would be best for Maryam worship. But today is the best among the 5 Fridays, and we will do each time. But this will be the last time we will be doing it here, because we will start constructing this next week. So this place will be closed. That area will be open, and we will continue our function there. But the one behind that will be the main temple. That will continue for the next year and a half. But as I said, we will have some of the Sannidhanams continue to be built in the year and a half. It will be magnificent. The whole plan, you have seen that plan. We kept, the plan is still there for them to see Indra.
Yes.
It's more inside.
Oh, you took it.
Spaces in less.
So they can see it?
We'll bring it back.
Yeah, they can see.
There's a magnificent way all the 33 Sannidhanams spread out. And it'll be a magnificent place. It'll be very nice. Even the place would be 25,000 square feet. It was 7,000 square feet before. It's a magnificent expansion. All done by her. We don't take any credit because we didn't plan it, we didn't know it. So she does it and we do our part, small part. You participate too. In the next year and a half, participate meaning put your imprint in it, because this is going to stand for thousands of years. Make your soul, your descendant soul, part of it. So participate any way you can, to the capacity you can. Some people actually sponsor the deities. That's very expensive. Some people can afford it and they do it. It's up to them. We don't have to. But any part, even if you give $100 or bring some prasadam to share with other devotees, anything to make your part connected to the temple. Take advantage of it. A year and a half from now, you'll be completing it. You'll last a chance. You will be coming, and of course you'll be in you, but take advantage of the next year and a half. Do whatever you call as a sacrifice. Like I said, I don't like the term because it's not a sacrifice. To me, it's a long-term investment. You cannot make it. Whatever you do, you make. You're going to leave it behind. There's no long-term. Only long-term investment would be what you do with her. because that goes with you forever. It's a truly a long-term investment. She has given us opportunity to make the investment, which will go with you. Look at Steve Jobs, $20 billion worth of Apple shares he had. In 1 second, it's gone. There's no connection anymore, right? He didn't take it with him, but he did many charities. So that charity is, that'd be long-term investment for him. But as an asset, once you die, once you pass away, the connection is gone. So use the asset productively as a truly long-term investment. The only long-term investment you can make is what you do for other aspects of her, any life form. That's the only reality. In any life form, she exists. So do whatever you can. It doesn't have to be human, animal, insect, anything. But Atman has to be there, and she is there in all the life forms. Do whatever you can. Human to be the highest, so do it to humans. But do it to animals, do things. Anything you can, we can. So that way you connect to her. That's the only thing you can do for her. She is the universe. You really cannot. She doesn't need anything because she's part of it. But we use that process to create the bond between us and her. You see the beauty of that? We use it to grow up and understand the term growing up. Growing up meaning expanding our consciousness to higher form, to a higher level of consciousness. And today is one of those days when you do the Abhishekam, you do the Homa, you think of her. When you go home tonight, you're going to think of Maryam, and she would be actively, she would wake up in you, and she would be present. And Maryam is Parashakti. To me, Maryam is the one which changes from Prakriti to Purusha. She becomes part of it, and she gives one part of her as Shiva, as Purusha, and she is Prakriti. Anything else is nothing. Everything else you see has to be one of them, either Prakriti or the Purusha, and we are both. So what a wonderful opportunity for us to take advantage of it and expand our consciousness and get the grace of her, which is not given. There are 7 billion people. How many really know her as well as you do, or as much as you connect to? That is called grace. You earned it many, many lifetimes. Like I said, 700, 800,000, an average lifetimes. We have earned it. And this time we come and use it. So take advantage of it. Make a long-term investment. That would be truly long-term. Anything else is a short-term. Whatever I enjoy, I will leave it behind. So give it. Sometimes some of you want to even assign. We have a program we have not started. As you pass away, you can assign a part of your asset to the temple. That is investment. Otherwise, you don't have any control on that. You're going to leave it behind and go. You probably saw we leave it to the family, but you make it for you. For you meaning the higher you, not this mind, body, intellect complex. That's lower me. That's the lower me. The higher me is my Atman. And I want to make it, that's the only permanent aspect of me. That's why it's called Eternal Mother Temple. Eternal, always there. Never born and never disappear. It always exists. And that's eternal. The term itself, she gave us the term, that's why it's called Eternal Mother. Always present. No end to that. And this is Eternal Mother Temple. We are her aspects. And take advantage of it. She has given a wonderful opportunity now to construct the new house, which will be the most magnificent temple you have seen, and participate in it. Enjoy the travel for the next 8.5 years. It'll be tough. We will go through a lot of difficulty. It won't be easy because Asuric energy would not make it easier. If we step out of the way, they come. And I feel them. But they're also our children. That's why when we do our Homa, we take them out. Because they visit Asuras and we take them out with respect. Because they are there to do the function. Without Asuras, there are no Devas. We need both. So that we can be a medium to act out both the energies. And they are the devatas. You call them asuris or asuras, devas and devis. But the energy is real, and they are two different aspects. We need both of them. That's why Kartikeya was a classic example. How nicely he conquered all the asuras, and they became his vehicle. Those asuras, Tarakasura, Simhasura, Surapadama, they became his vehicle. She wants us to do that, because we have the asuras in us. All the anger, jealousy, all the meanness, all the bad emotions we have, they are the asuras. Ignorance would be the prime asuras. Ignorance of knowing who we are, why we are here, where we came from, where we are going. All these mystical questions we don't ask. And most importantly, Yamadharma Raja, when I worship him, tells me, how come you people don't think of me? Ultimately, I am the one. You have to go through me. But you never think of me. How often we think of death? We don't. I do. When I do my prayagam, I invoke him. Okay, he's probably the most important for us. And during that time, Mahakali becomes important because she takes us through this difficult journey after we pass. That the river is symbolically represented, blood and pus. It's just a bad. We walk through that. And then we go to Yama and listen to our story. And then see what we missed. Honestly, highest level of honesty. And we know we missed something. We did good and bad will show up. Then you write another script. That'll be the next birth for you. Prarabdha karma. That's what you are reacting out. You wrote the script. You wrote the plan. You placed the planets. You came at that time so that the script can be acted up. You need the planets at that position. So you place them. But you, meaning higher you, not higher us. The higher spiritual aspect, Atmic level, where we are extremely honest and we are very goal-oriented. We see what we lacked for perfection. So we write another story, another life, and complete that. But each time we have to evolve. And we will, because you would not be here today doing this function unless you have the grace. And the grace is the most important. And you have it. But use it. You have to expand it. Go to higher level of connection, higher level of relationship. And all these are very real. And there's nothing illogical of anything I said. It's all scientific. You develop the connection and you expand your level of consciousness. That is all ultimately what is you is your consciousness. Rest of it is temporary. I call it short-term rental. I will have it for 80 years, 90 years, whatever, meant to be. But I will use it because she has given the wisdom. Ganesha, in the Kundalini, he starts a journey. He tells us what we should do, what we should not do, how we cut short the journey time. Everything he gives the wisdom because Kundalini wakes up. This temple is a Kundalini temple. Many of our devotees, Kundalini has woken up. All of you, Kundalini is woken up. If it's not woken up, you won't be a human. Once you become a human, your Kundalini is awakened. But you have to take it up to Sahasrara and bring it back. Use it to activate your nadis. There's 72,000 of them. You activate them and you go up and down and experience all those mystical journeys. But this temple is Kundalini temple. And ultimately, to go to higher level of consciousness, you have to wake up your Kundalini. Wake up meaning take it to higher level, take it to different level. And then it comes back. It don't stay in Sahasrara. The travel continues. But ultimately, any knowledge, the term is gnosis, Greek term. Gnosis is a spiritual. That is through Kundalini. And all of us have Kundalini. Activated, this place is full of Kundalini Devatas. Sakini, Rakini, Varnini, all are Kundalini Devatas. They're very active here. And they're very active in you, but you have to wake them up and take them to higher level. Who controls him? Anjaneya. Anjaneya energy is very important. So think of Anjaneya. One of you had some problem and I gave that Anjaneya mantra because Anjaneya controls the Kundalini Devatas. So all this again To me, it's scientific, but others may think this is not science because we cannot prove the existence of those nadis, the pranic channels. We know the existence of nervous channels, but these are not nerves. They are associated with the nerves, but they are astral channels, and we have them. And this Kundalini journey is through that. So all this wisdom she will give you, Ganesha will grant you. From Mooladhara, he will tell you what's the next level, what you should do. That wisdom we don't get in anywhere. In life, nobody teaches you that. Only she can teach you through Ganesha. So again, it's a very scientific concept. But unless you have the grace of divine, you won't even know that. You'll know it as a myth. You know the term myth, mythology, myth. But here, these are not myths, they are real. Your Kundalini is real, your pranic channels are real, but scientifically you can't show the nerves because they're astral channels. They do travel along with the nerves, but they're adjacent to that. So you cannot see them, but you can feel them. But that gives you the gnosis. Whatever you learn in the past 20 minutes, it is between her and you. Each one of you would carry something different, may not be the same. I said the same thing, but each one of you I know would carry some of aspect of you will wake up. All of a sudden you will have gnosis, understanding, and develop relationship with that deity, with that devata. And there are millions of them, and all are in us, but dormant, because our level of consciousness is very rudimentary. Look at that eyes, nose, stomach, lungs, heart, very rudimentary. The higher beings in different planets will have a much higher body. They may not even have a physical body. It may be purely astral. They are higher beings. They don't need the physical body. We do need it. We are an evolutional scale. Not a very wonderful, refined, look at it. Heart pumping, lungs pumping, mind thinking, very rudimentary. But we will go to higher level of consciousness. That is only reality. The body is temporary, but we do need it. We have to use it and then go on. As we evolve, we will get more challenges, of course. The journey never ends. Journey doesn't end until you become part of her. That may take another 800,000 lifetimes, maybe. But as long as we move towards her, and we will, because on this auspicious day she has invited us. She made us come. She made us do the homework this morning. That is done. The energy is very intense now. And it's for you, even though you are not here this morning, but your Atman would know that you have woken up the energy, and we use that water symbolically to do the Abhishekam. So again, symbolism, but effect would be active, because that holy water, which we energize with the Homa, we use to do the Abhishekam. Again, see the scientific concept in that. You do Abhishekam, we can use any water, but you use the water which is energized with the Homa, where we use Agni as a mediator along with Swaha, Swaha Devi. So we say Swaha, we invoke her. So all are scientific concepts. So we reach the higher level of consciousness, then reach higher beings, devatas, so many levels, million levels of them. All come from one source, which is Mother. Today is Maryam. And this day, to be able to do that is a wonderful, I don't know, you can appreciate, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to come and do it. And soon after my yatra to Himalayas, to do that is doubly beneficial. And you are the recipient of that. So please participate, because this will go on in the year and a half. We will complete it. You'll miss out. Don't miss out. What little you can do. Bring a prasadam, do a little cleanup when you see a dirt, anything. But something from your soul has to go to her. And the benefit to us becomes millionfold. So understand that and use her, use your Atman in a proper way, and grow up. The term grow up, meaning when you leave, you should be richer. Richer means not with physical assets, richer in spirituality. You have to understand how these things work, who you, where we came from, what is an Atman, how the connection, what are the intermediary energies we need, and how the vibration is fundamental. Spanda, spanda is the term, the vibration, the original term is spanda. So she starts oscillating, and then the vibration, then she creates. And we are part of her, a microcosm of her, 1 trillionth of her. And that is ultimately spanda, that vibration is active. And that creates a nada. So between the spanda and nada, bindu, the creation. Again, you see the scientific concept in that. It is, to me, it's actually physical. That vibratory energy is creative energy. And when we do all these spiritual activities and understand this and know her and she knows us, we get more out of it. And I want you to get the maximum because she has given us the ability to know her, to come to her, and to be able to consume her, to be able to experience and explore her. Those are all wonderful, wonderful gifts. And she's given it to us, but you got to use it. So take advantage of it, use her, feel her, explore her, and ultimately it goes back to bhakti and grace. Grace is Tamil term would be arul, I think. That comes by many, many hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. That grace continues. And today you can imagine how much grace we would have received. And today last week. So every Friday we will do this function. Next Friday we will do it there. At this place, this will be the last day. And again, see how fortunate we are to be able to be here the last day before we break open and build the magnificent Gopram. This will match the other Gopram. So she's giving us all these things. What have we done to deserve that? But we must have. If you don't deserve it, you don't get it. You have done it sometimes in eternity. You would have been a spiritual being, would have asked for her, and she would come now. So understand this and take advantage of it. But this is a magnificent, this will be a magnificent temple because it's a live, I use the word live temple, meaning the energies are very active here. I feel them because I do the mantra, tantra, yantra, which she has given. If she has not given it, I would not know that. If I don't do the prayogam, I would not know any of it. Prayogam is different than yoga. In yoga, you control all these elements, the 7 Ashtanga yoga, you reach the samadhi state. You're taking care of yourself. That Atman has reached the highest level where there's union. But what about other Atmans? What have we done for the rest of them? But here, we do for everyone. So you share her with every life form. Explore and experience. Read the mission statement. To be able to explore and experience the divine. That is a mighty job. Only if she wishes it, that can happen. And she wished it, because it's happening to us. It means you have earned it. You may not, of course you won't remember, but many, many lifetimes, 100,000 lifetimes, you would have wanted to be spiritual. This is a wonderful place, and you'll have a wonderful temple. This is the last time you will be here, because we are going to start the construction of this next week. This is the last day we do the function. So take her with you and enjoy her. And we are very, very fortunate because I look back for the past month what all she has done. That's a wonderful yatra. And she has given it to you, whether you are aware. Now you are aware. You even know that yatra is made on your behalf. And when you are aware of it, you receive her more intensely. Tell me when they're ready, yeah?
Yes, almost a few more minutes.
A few more minutes. So we don't want to waste time. So I shared the experiences with you. But this awareness is very important. You have to be aware of all the components of you, the mind, body, intellect, ego, and then the Atman. The mind, body, intellect, ego will go. That's temporary. We have to use it. Use it as effectively as you can. But you're going to leave that behind. Only the Atman, which is part of her, is real. And that will go with us. And that's a beautiful concept. So we are immortal. These temporary ones will go. that is a temporary shell of us. All of us will leave the shell and go to higher level of consciousness. But truly we are. The question is, who are we? Who is me? The little I is me. You're seeing me. But the big I is my Atman. And that is real. That is piece of earth. And that will survive forever. So truly we are eternal and immortal. But if you look at you as a mind, body, intellect, ego, your name, your family, if you look at it that way, you are not eternal. You are a very short-term mortal being. But we are not. We are much above that. Truly we are immortal. So identify with that. That means you have obligations to other life forms. Your family is one of them, yes. But there are others. Whoever you can help, you can share her freely. The best way would be in a form of a temple. She builds it, we participate in it, and many people, we get people from Middle East, from Africa, from Australia. We even get some Muslims as our devotee, because in this path there is no religion, really. Our religion is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That is Sanatana Dharma. And we are that. We call it Hindus, but we are beyond that. Very scientific concept. The Sanatana Dharma is very fundamental and it covers everything. It lets you enjoy even this life, the short-term rental. She doesn't judge you. She said, I want my devotees to have Bhoga Moksha. Can you imagine? Bhoga Moksha? It's not oxymoronic. You know the term oxymoron. Good, bad, oxymoron. This is oxymoronic to say Bhoga Moksha. How can that be? In moksha, the journey should be tough, painful, suffering. But she says, no, I want my children to enjoy the journey and reach me. Thank you.